Alright, tonight we're going to be skinning a coyote here, do a little how-to video. Dad's going to be popping in and out to help me. Fairly new at this still. This is the 13th coyote we've done this season, so we're starting to figure things out. So this video is specifically targeted to people that are just getting into it and trying to learn the ropes. So first things first, we're going to make a couple notches in his legs, just like if you'd be hanging a deer up to skin, and then we'll get to it. I'm using it's a HME hoist, if you will. It actually goes in the back of your truck or your vehicle, so if you go on a hunting trip, this is super handy. It's something you can use. We don't have a barn setup or anything like that, so we just back the truck right in, throw it up quick, and then get to skinning. This is the easy part. After you got her up, this is a female coyote, and it's late in the season, so I don't know if she'll have a lot of fat on her or not, but like I said, Dad's going to help me kind of pull her. If you're doing this by yourself, it's naturally just going to take more time, but if you have somebody that can help you, it'll speed things up. So first thing you're going to do to get started here is make a complete notch around both legs. You want to make sure you're not cutting the ligament on the back of the leg, or your lift here will slide right through. So just be delicate, be careful. One. And here it doesn't really matter how high up you go, especially if you're selling the fur. They're going to end up kind of cutting this off anyhow. So there you go. Now what we're going to do is kind of follow this color line. You'll see a change in color in all coyotes, and just kind of go right down to what most trappers call the vent, but it's their anus pretty much. So just go straight to that, and then we'll show you what to do next. Put a lot of meat on this cut, fortunately. Once you make those cuts down to the vent here, you're going to just kind of start pulling, and you're going to need to work with your knife as you pull. We'll get down to about the tail, and then we'll show you what to do from there, but just kind of start to get those legs off and separated from the meat. Sometimes you can just pull it. I trapped this coyote last night and dispatched it this morning, so it's been sitting around all day. It's like 60 degrees today, so we'll see how easy it is.
You want to do that? I'll spread it, you cut it.
So once you get to this part, like I said, that can be kind of a strenuous process, but when you get to the tail, you're going to want to just take your knife, just kind of slide down the tail. And when I first started doing this, I thought it was super backwards that you split the tail, and you'll literally split that all the way to the end. And we have what's called a tail splitter to do that. We'll show you in a second, but that didn't make any sense to me. So if you're watching this and you're new, you do want to split it all the way down. That way it can dry out and you don't have moisture kind of pooling up in that tube of the tail. It'll end up rotting and you'll have a lot of slippage of the fur. So I'm going to take the knife down about halfway, and then we'll finish it out with the tail stripper. Like so. I'm going to have to cut around it first. Can you hand me that rebar? A little cheat to kind of help you get this tail down is if you just get a piece of rebar, you can stick it in between the tail and its back, basically, just to kind of separate it and get you started. It'll just poke right through. Like so. You can even pull down on it a little. Just kind of work down the rest of the hide and then start trimming the tail up with your knife. Of course. Do that on camera. So once you get it about halfway down, this is the fun part. You can use what's called a tail stripper. You actually can pretty much make one of these, but so knife down here. You can get this at any trapping store. You can order them online. It's just a piece of plastic, and it's got a circular hole in it that you can hook around the tail, like so. And it's really a one-person job. Just grab it with your one hand, pull down on the fur, and then pull up on the tail bone, and you're good to go. And then once you do that, like I mentioned, as far as zipping the tail, we only got it split about halfway, so the rest of this, as you can imagine, is just a tube. So you're just going to take your zipper, it's got a blade inside there, you're going to hook it like so, and you're literally just going to pull. Super easy. You're going to get some hair that comes out with it, don't be alarmed, and make sure you get it split all the way to the end. There you go. Before you get too far down, you're going to want to do the same thing you did to the back legs or the front legs. Wring them out. It can be a pain if you get too far along. It's kind of wrapped over the legs. You got to dig back up through. So right now I'll just go around kind of below the elbow here. Just wring it completely. This one doesn't matter if you cut the tendons. Just like so. That way when we get down, we'll just pull right off. Same thing on the other leg. And they're good to keep going. Look at that. You hit that, game over.
You'd be getting the shower, blood shower.
Yeah, that's the brachial artery.
Is that what you hit on your deer then?
Yeah.
So when you get to this part, the neck, shoulders, front legs, head, it's a lot of just pulling and small cuts. And like I said, we don't have the best setup. This can only go so high. That's why I'm down on my knees now, just try to get a better angle pulling. So don't get frustrated when you get here. It's kind of a pain. And like I said, just try not to put a bunch of holes in it. Go slow and you'll be fine. So a little trick, once you get to the front legs here, if you got another guy that can help you out, you can slide that piece of rebar through basically the elbow. He pulls up on the leg, other guy pulls down on the hide, and you should be able to pull it through. You might have to work around the front paw a little bit, but be patient, you'll get it. to the other side. Yeah. You can just hold that leg up. Go to that, yeah. This is where I can get rid of those. Final part is obviously the head. This gets a little bit tough when you get to the ears and the eyes. We'll show you that, but for now, just cutting around the neck. There's a couple big arteries in his neck. If you nick those, you're gonna have a lot of blood. Coyotes seem to bleed a lot, especially in the neck and head region. So again, this is another part. Just take your time, go slow, and you'll get it.
Hey, look, is that one of your bullets?
Maybe one of them fell out of mine.
That sure is one of your bullets.
That's kind of cool.
Where?
Huh.
Did you want to show that or anything? They don't always find this, but just came across the 22 round. So that's kind of cool. So this took me a handful of coyotes to get the hang of, but once you get down past the neck and to the head, you're literally going to be able to feel the ears. And a lot of fur buyers like a deep ear canal, so not cutting them off super high, so you just got little tiny ears. So I try to cut them super deep. When you flesh them and board them, you can trim that up if you leave too much, but better safe than sorry. So you can feel those. Just take your knife, just cut right in. So as you can see, once you cut in, you got something you can literally put your finger into. Then it's his ear canal, and you can use that to kind of help you pull eventually. So we'll do the same thing to this one over here. Oops. Now you got two little handles that you can pull on. Same thing you do with the ears, you're going to do with the eyes. You can, once you get down far enough, you can literally feel them, and you're just going to kind of cut in. These don't mean a whole lot. I've screwed up some eyes, and they don't even pay attention to it when they're buying your fur. So just kind of cut in. If you tear them a little bit or, have a couple holes, it's no big deal. But just cut in like so. And same thing as when you did the ears. You kind of can stick your finger in there then and just get the pulling on it. There's one. I don't know if you can see that. Same thing on the other side. Stick your finger in those and start cutting. Next thing we're going to do is the mouth. Next, pretty much final part, well, not last, but the mouth. You can again feel their teeth, and this is where You need a good knife, and you might dull your knife a little bit cutting on bone, but again, just find where that mouth is, start slicing, and same thing, you can slip your fingers in there and pull as you go. To the final point now, which is the nose and the bottom lip. A lot of guys will just come in and cut that bottom lip right off, but if you're going to use it for a wall hanger, you'll want to leave the bottom lip. But if you're just taking it to the fur market, they don't pay any attention to that, so you can just take your knife and cut it right off. And then you get to the nose, you can feel where that cartilage starts. You can just slowly cut into it and leave the nose hole in there. I'm going to try to save the bottom lip in case I tan this one. And that's pretty much it. You can flip her inside out, check out your finished product. And I'll typically wash my fur just because you get it all bloody when you're skinning it. You don't have to, but wash it and then dry it. But your finished product should hopefully look something like this. And again, I know it's a little bit bloody, but so that's your finished product. We'll leave links in the description to the knives we use and some of the other equipment. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop us a comment. Like I said, pretty new to this, first year skinning coyotes. This was number 13. So if you have any tips, feel free to drop those as well. But thank you guys for watching. That's all she wrote, folks. First thing you're gonna do to get started here is make a complete notch around both legs. And you want to make sure you're not cutting the ligament on the back of the leg. You want to make sure you're not cutting the ligament on the back of the leg, or your lift here will slide right through. So just be delicate, be careful.